What's really good, my people? Welcome into No Catch Up Sports Talk via Chicago. I'm your host, Sean Little. Big Nick the Quick with me as always, man. I apologize for the couple weeks off, but man, we've been busy, man. We've been working a little bit, but we're back. NFL starts tomorrow night in Los Angeles, California. We're going to talk NFL Week 1. We're going to talk about the Chicago Bears' new stadium plans, how we feel about them leaving Chicago. We might even talk a little bit about our expectations on them for the season. We're going to talk all NFL, because obviously that's week 1. I do want to talk about hotheads in sports. I had Nick Kyrgios last night in the U.S. Open for a decent sum, and I will never go through that experience ever again. That was foolish. We'll talk about that. But we got, we're going to touch on a lot of things we may or may not have missed on the last couple weeks. Big Nick the Quick, what's going on?
How we feeling?
I'm good, man. Apartment is all loaded in New York. I'm locked in. Everything
settled in.
I'm settled in. I got a couple things I got to put on the wall. But other than that, everything is locked. I'm all good over here. You hear the horns outside. I'm in New York.
Man.
I'm in the city for
real. It's live. It's midday over there. Midday.
Yeah, I like how we both. I like how I rock the Arsenal. You rock the Tottenham on the. This is the top of the league cap. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely, man. You know,
this is that top of the league cap.
We got Champions League. We got Champions League football today. You guys got
that's true.
You guys got what you got tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm looking forward, man. You know what I'm saying? This year.
Absolutely, man.
It's all about what's going on.
Good start. You see Chelsea fired Buddy, man. He couldn't handle that heat.
Man. Actually, really quick.
They get the quick hook. You had told me this when I first started watching. Like, this dude literally won Champions League like 18 months ago.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And literally got the hook yesterday after a slow start. And they finished third last year, third or fourth.
The culture on the soccer world and managers is crazy. But yeah, we could talk about that another time.
And they said he was fired before they even lost yesterday. So it had nothing to even do with losing yesterday.
I mean, let me ask you this.
It's rough out here.
Well, let me pose you this question. Do you lean more fire the manager? This could be football, this could be soccer, this could be basketball. Do you lean more fire the coach now or wait and give him some time to develop? Like, if he's not the guy, let's go ahead and get this guy up out of here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it depends on the sport, but I mean, it seems to work for these clubs, right? Like Tottenham did the same thing last year. They fired their manager and it turned around their entire season. So I don't know if it would work in, say, football, I guess, where you're, American football, where you're just so much of it is based on the game planning and all the stuff that you did before the season. But yeah, I mean, I think if something's not working, you got to move on. Like, I appreciate recognizing that something's not working, not trying to force it. We just went through it with Matt Nagy, where for 2 years too long he was around when it was clear that he wasn't the right person. It seems like these teams, it's like, hey, look, man, we hired you to do a job. If we don't see the results in a month, there's no intervention plan or nothing like that. It's like, we're moving on. We don't care what you did last year. So I guess, you can't really knock it, man. I mean,
I think it's interesting
performance-based thing. Here's the thing, man. If you and I aren't performing at our jobs, we don't really get another wait and see type year. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's over with.
Yeah, so that's true.
Yeah, that's life. So yeah,
I will say this: if you talk to like just the soccer culture, like the fact that people over here get 4 or 5 year deals is insane. Why would I give you a 5-year deal?
Right.
Like what? Like, why would I sign you for 5 years? I've never seen you coach the team, and if shit's not turned around after 2, it's probably not gonna get turned around either way. So you end up just getting caught with bread. But yeah, it's a different culture.
It does seem like they have more say in personnel and things like that than say.
Oh no, that is the thing.
So it's like you are picking the players. You're spending the money on the players, and you're expected to produce immediately. Whereas it's not like. Yeah,
I think that is the dynamic. I gave the owner, I'm literally giving you $350 million in the transfer window.
Yeah.
You go get all the players you want, and the team is shit.
Right.
So you got to go.
Right, exactly. Whereas like an NFL or some NBA coach, you still GM, but there's different rules and shit. You can't just go out and sign a guy because you want him. So yeah, I think that probably has to do with it too. But I thought that was crazy, man. But yeah, it's just different.
It's interesting. It's definitely different. All right, let's jump into the NFL, man. Talk to me about the storylines you're looking forward to for week 1, just going into the season. Is it Justin Herbert and the additions the Chargers has made? Is it Tom Brady coming into year 1,000,000 and with alleged plastic surgery and
personal drama?
Is he locked in or not? Is it
So first off, let me stop you right there. Tom Brady is eternally locked in. Like, I don't want to hear it. This man is 45 years old. He's played 23, 24 years in the NFL. This is not his first time dealing with off the field stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is not his first time going through something. This isn't the first time he's had other things on his mind. This isn't the first time he's had turmoil in his personal life or on the field. If you remember, they suspended this man. He came back and won the Super Bowl. So if anybody can handle the pressures of life and what's being thrown at him and still be able to perform, it's Tom Brady. I think that's what makes him special. He's able to compartmentalize. So it seems to be a lot of talking. And again, this is that Brady disrespect that I still don't understand how it exists. Why are we still questioning this man? There's 31 other quarterbacks in the NFL that you can pose a million different questions to. The one guy that we should not be asking any questions of is Thomas Brady. I remind you,
not everybody retired. Hey, hold on. Not everybody retired and then came back. Not everybody's disappeared. Not everybody's disappearing in the middle of training camp.
And not everybody's been in 10 Super Bowls. Not everybody switches teams at age 43 and wins the Super Bowl their first year there.
That's true. I listen. Do you remember when Max Kellerman tried to predict Tom Brady's cliff and it was like 6 or 7 years ago? He was like, he's falling off a cliff this year.
Yeah, it's like 2 years, yeah.
So he's won
3 Super Bowls since that, I think.
I'm not gonna bury Tom until necessary. And I like watching Tom play, so I'm looking forward to seeing him play this year.
Oh, you do?
But
okay.
Hey man, it's gonna be interesting because he's missing Gronk.
Yeah,
he's got a lot. He told you flat out, I got a lot of stuff going on in my personal life. I think that was a direct correlation to. He was talking about family time. He's like, man, dude, I got a whole family that wants me to not play football, and I'm dealing with that, and I got to come out here and try to win games. Godwin allegedly is back, but he's wearing a big brace on his knee. We'll see how he looks. It's a different squad. Offensive line is different. They got injuries, retirement. So
that's a problem.
And
the offensive line and the pressure up the middle is absolutely
it's a real. This is the other thing too. Remember how we talked about LeBron, and when LeBron realized he wasn't going to win a lot of games and they weren't going to go to the playoffs and they had no shot at winning the title, he shuts it down basically.
Yeah,
like this is not going to work. Let me go try to retool, reload. Right. I wonder if that's something similar to because Tom is out there playing to win Super Bowls. Period. Point blank. That's it. I wonder if the middle of the season, he's looking around, he's like, nah, this team don't have it. And is he coasting? I don't see Tom battling through. I guess I shouldn't say that because there was a stretch where they were really bad last year before they won the Super Bowl or 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And he hung in there, but that was also year one of the experiment, right? It's going to be listen, there's a little bit of smoke here. And I'm interested to see how it all shakes out, especially if they start to struggle and don't have enough weapons and the offense just isn't where it's supposed to be.
But I think that's where his greatness comes into play, right? Like, I think a lot of this would be valid if we had seen some slippage over the last 2 years. Like, I'm looking up the numbers right now. Since he's joined the Buccaneers, so 2 seasons. He
should have won the MVP last year.
He's thrown for 10,000 yards, completed 66% of his passes, and thrown 83 touchdowns. So we're not talking about a guy who's kind of even like this. It's almost going like this. You know what I'm saying? So if anything, his greatness is gonna lift them through a lot of those moments where other guys wouldn't be able to do that. And that's not like blowing smoke or some Tom Brady fantasy world. We've seen this for 20 plus years. My thing is this, man. If I've watched something for 22, 23 years work continuously, just go ahead and prove me wrong. That's fine. I'm not going to be on the other side of the Tom Brady thing. I've said that for years on this show. I'm not going to be the one saying, hey, it's over. When it's over, that's fine with me. But
he was also on the Belichick side of the Brady conversation, if I'm remembering that correctly.
Who, me?
Yeah, you was talking about Belichick had more to do with this shit than Brady did.
I've always been Brady.
Oh
My
yeah.
bad. No, I've
What,
always
what
been.
were we?
I,
What
I
were we
love.
arguing about with Belichick?
Listen, I'm the biggest Tom Brady fan of all. Maybe
Oh,
that
we
the
were
Patriots would
arguing
be
about
okay.
Belichick and his weak ass D. They was putting up 35 a night on his ass, and Brady had to score 40. And you was telling me that.
Oh, that
you
yeah,
was
they won
telling
the
me
Super
that
Bowl, and
Belichick's D.
they won the Super Bowl that year, and
You
they
was
won, and that was the year that you said that they were done. We were in the studio. I remember the day perfectly, and you're like, they're done. And next thing you know, these boys won the Super Bowl.
I don't know if I said they were done. I said
No,
the
you said they were
defense is
done.
not up to par, and
you said they were done.
and Brady is more important than this
You said-
whole organization than Belichick. And you said
these boys were
you said he wasn't.
No,
Something like that.
No, I would never. I don't.
It's on wax.
There's no disrespect in the Thomas J. Brady in my vocabulary ever.
it's on wax.
Ever.
Go back and
Ever.
find
No.
it.
Hey, that was like 3 Super Bowls ago, man.
That was a few Super Bowls ago.
You talk about Tom Brady's career in Super Bowls. So yeah, that was like 4 Super Bowls ago. You know what I'm saying?
That was a few Super Bowls ago.
My man's been to 10 Super Bowls. Stop the cap. I don't want to hear none of this.
So we're gonna.
So I'm cool with the Brady thing. That's fine, right? What else I'm looking forward to? I think that there's been, and we're gonna see it on Monday night. And I didn't even realize that he was going to Seattle on Monday night. There's been a lot of downgrading of Russell Wilson out here, and it's funny. We're talking about this right now. Right as we go on the air, apparently ESPN just dropped a story detailing what happened between Russ and Pete Carroll. So I'm gonna go ahead and read that after this. But people talking like Russ is done. Like Russ wasn't an MVP. This is just not like he's done, but like I feel like he's not getting the respect, or they're not measuring the impact of him coming to Denver the way that it should be. I get the Chargers look good. I get the Raiders the Raiders could be good. I get the Chiefs are the Chiefs. Well, obviously the Chiefs are the Chiefs. That goes without saying. But this is Russell Wilson, man. Getting out of that situation in Seattle that he clearly didn't want to be in the last 2 seasons. Going to a new team loaded, playing with the defense, which is where he thrives.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Playing in another stadium with a huge home field advantage. Let's ride.
No question.
Let's ride.
Let's ride.
Let's ride.
Broncos country.
So I feel like there's not a lot of respect going in that way, man. I feel like a lot of other things are being talked about at the quarterback position that aren't Russell Wilson, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I've been giving Russ his law. I'm a big Russ fan. He's top 10 quarterback for me still, no question. I think he was in a bad situation in Seattle. And I said this on TV the other day. This is going to be Pete Carroll's last year in the NFL.
For sure.
The Seattle Seahawks are going to be brutal, in my opinion. I think they're going to win 5-6 games max. They're going to be awful, and Pete's going to pack it in.
Shout out to Sean for coining the original nickname Pete the Bandit Carroll.
Yeah, thief.
Thief in the night.
Thief in the night.
Got out of UFC.
Thief in the night.
USC got out of USC while the building was super on fire.
It was hot. The building was burning down, and he literally strolled out the front door in a shorts and a t-shirt and hopped on a jet to Seattle and won the Super Bowl.
Yo, burnt the whole thing down.
Yes. So shout out Pete.
Still hasn't recovered.
Shout out Pete for SC still has
not recovered. You got coaches drunk at remember Sarkisian was drunk at the fucking alumni night or whatever the fuck it was.
They still haven't come back.
Recovered, man. Shout out Pete Carroll. Yeah, you're right on that though. So no, I think that hasn't been given enough attention.
I will say this: it's interesting that line Monday Night Football. Broncos at Seattle is 6.5. I thought it would be over a touchdown. I thought it'd be like 7.5. And I want to say a couple days ago, it was 5.5. So that line on that stage, the total's 45. Right now, it's 6.5, lays at 45 on the total. Broncos are minus 285 on the money line. I feel like the we're going to see, man, because the Broncos they only needed a quarterback in my eyes. They had a lot of talent all across the board, and they're going this way, and Seattle's going this way. So we'll see week 1. I don't know. I think Seattle's going to be really bad. I think Seattle's going to be really bad. I think Atlanta's going to be brutal. I think the Bears are going to be bad.
Awful.
I think
Carolina awful.
Someone has a lot of – It's
Carolina love. Is there Carolina love out there?
There's Carolina love.
Is it the Baker Redemption Tour?
It's the Baker versus the World Redemption Tour.
Is it the Matt Rule breaking out party?
Yeah. So I don't know, but let me tell you what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to the New Orleans Saints. I think that they are going to be extremely
Jameis getting some MVP love.
well-coached team. Jameis is coming back. Jameis, I know this sounds funny, and we've joked about this a lot. There's not many guys that can drop back and throw it 45 times. Jameis Winston can do that. Well, simple as that. The last full season he had, I understand, 30 touchdowns, 30 interceptions. It's unprecedented he did that, right?
And 5,000 yards.
5,000 yards passing.
It's hard to do.
He then got the whole eyes thing is very real.
Mm-hmm.
I really think he was having trouble with his vision. He went and got LASIK. He's not dealing with that anymore. And you saw it last year when he played, I think I want to say he played the first 6 games. Yeah. He looked really, really good. I think he had like 18 touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
They destroyed the Packers week 1, right?
He was playing phenomenal football. Tore his ACL. He's back. I'm blanking on the coach's name, but
Dennis Allen.
Dennis Allen has been around for 20 years.
Mike Thomas back. Alvin Kamara.
Exactly. Allen was under Sean Payton. There's not a lot of change, not a lot of big regime turnover there.
Still going to be excellent against the run.
They got Kamara back. It looks like he's going to play week 1. We were worried about him being suspended. They got Olave. They got Juice Landry. They still have an excellent home field advantage in New Orleans at the Superdome. I think this team is going to be really good. I'm very bullish. 2 biggest teams I'm bullish on in the league are the Saints and the Raiders. Simple as that. I think they'll both be really good. The Raiders have a tough sledding in the AFC and in the AFC West, but man, I like New Orleans a lot.
I like McDaniel with Carr. I think that's going to be real nice.
Yeah,
I think that's he's going to have a coach that's going
to. And you want to talk about Tom Brady and Super Bowls? New Orleans Patriots, or not the New Orleans Patriots.
New Orleans Patriots.
the New Orleans Patriots would be crazy. The New England Patriots won 6 Super Bowls with Tom Brady in New England. Josh McDaniel won all 6. When he wasn't there, they didn't win any Super Bowls. So don't forget that. When he left and went to Denver, I understand his head coaching stint in Denver wasn't that good. Yeah. But they didn't win any Super Bowls when Josh McDaniel wasn't on their staff running the offense. And he's not there. They're running. I can't believe that Joe Judge and Matt Patricia are going to be the ones running the offense in New England. I don't see I can't believe that Belichick, especially the Giants had the worst offense in the league last year. Joe Judge was the head coach. So
he was a special teams coach in New England the first time before around. And Matt Patricia was a defensive coordinator.
Yes. So I don't understand what's going on over there on the offensive side of the ball in New England. But yeah, man, Josh McDaniels is there's elite offensive minds in this league. Kyle Shanahan, Josh McDaniel, Brian Daboll. They're up there. And McDaniels is right
now. Matt LaFleur.
I don't.
He's won a lot of games.
It's impossible.
He's won a lot of ball games over there, man.
Yeah, I guess I can put.
He's a Shanahan disciple.
Like this, I kind of but look, LaFleur and the Leftwich are kind of in the same box, right? Like they have these Hall of Fame, literally some of the best quarterbacks we've ever seen on planet Earth, maybe the top 2. And like it's tough. I don't know. McDaniels was out there doing things with Brady as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So I don't know. It's tough. But hey, put it like this, bro. Shanahan's
probably the best example out there because he's done it with mediocrity at quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. They need both. They both need each other. And when it comes together and is run the right way, they win the Super Bowl just like Leftwich and Brady, right? So
and to touch on your Saints thing real quick, if everything we're talking about the Buccaneers, and if there is some trouble with the Buccaneers and there's something to be worried about, then that means that division is up for grabs. Again, I get there's some Carolina momentum. I don't believe in it. Obviously, the Falcons are going to be hot trash, other than my man Kyle Pitts. But yeah, so I mean that I think that's going to be an interesting division. And the Bucks can't beat the Saints, so. They have major issues playing New Orleans Saints. I don't think they beat them since Brady's. They're 0-4 since Brady's gotten there, right? I don't think he's ever beaten the Saints. So yeah, that could be an interesting division. That's a good call out, man. I like the Saints. I like what Jameis has going on. You can talk about the 32 interceptions, but again, 30 interceptions, but 5,000 yards, 30 touchdowns. That's tough to do. If they fix some of that shit, if being under the tutelage of Sean Payton has helped him out at all. He could turn in a big year. So I like that.
I'm trying to read some of this Seattle, this Russell Wilson, because I want to ask you about that.
Yeah, he's pissed the Seattle scouted Mahomes and Josh Allen. Blame Carroll for losing the 2019 MVP. Dude, he was coasting to the MVP that year. You had the ticket that year, right?
Dude,
the first 8 games, he was on fire.
I had multiple tickets.
On fire. Yeah.
Yeah. So what we're talking about here is ESPN just released an article. The title is Inside Russell Wilson Seattle Seahawks Drama That Led to the Denver Broncos Trade. A divorce was inevitable.
Yeah.
It was laid out. I think there's two sides. This is what I'll say. I think there's two sides of Russell Wilson, and I think they're very different from each other. I think there's one that you see out in public and when there's a microphone in his face, and I think there's a completely different dude behind the scenes. I don't know that for fact. That's just my opinion, but he tries to be very clean and keep everything very professional when he's out in front of a camera, out in public, but I think him and Pete were butting heads for quite a while before he eventually left. And I think, what do we say, man, if you listen to No Catch Up, you know multiple times we've said, hey, man, when an athlete first mentions they want to get out of there, that shit doesn't change.
Doesn't change.
I can't recall a situation where a player was like, yeah, I need to get out of here, and then changed his tune and everything was fine.
I can.
Where? Give me one.
So it's funny we're talking about this in the Russell Wilson because you and I had this conversation offline. There's a great example of a player who spent the last 2 years telling you he wanted to get out there, but it was really just a play for money. Aaron Rodgers. Everything's great. Aaron Rodgers for the last 2 years bitched about being Green Bay. I want more decision making. I want more of this and that. It was all. It was no. It was all. It was all. You want to talk about two different types of people? It was all a money play. Aaron Rodgers got paid, and then what he said? Hey, look, man, I want to spend the rest of my career here in Green Bay. It was all posturing for more money. It had nothing to do with anything else. Hey, I need more personnel decisions. Okay, so as soon as you get what you want, your top target leaves, gets the hell out of town for less money than what the Packers were offering him.
Oh, let's get into this. Let's talk about this.
Let's get into it. That guy's a phony. He's a phony.
Hold on. Oh, let's talk about. Oh, this is perfect. This is perfect. This is perfect. Because let's talk about this because me and Nick had a conversation offline about Aaron Rodgers and him. And I said, I think Aaron Rodgers is one of the most transparent. Unlike Russell Wilson, I think he's two different guys. He's Jekyll and Hyde in front of the camera and behind it. And I think Aaron Rodgers he's that guy all the time who you see complaining in front of the camera, talking about doing ayahuasca in the forest or whatever he was doing, right? I'm going to say this. Aaron Rodgers still despises the front office and everybody that runs the Packers. I don't doubt that at all. And I think he didn't want to leave. And it was about getting respected. And then once he finally got more respect, he toned it down, but I still think he despises those guys. He's playing for whatever other reason. It's definitely not for the organization of the Packers, maybe the fans and all those other people, but yeah. How about this?
Coincidentally, right after Patrick Mahomes signed a $500 million contract, Aaron Rodgers wasn't happy.
But how about this? Anymore. You guys have been disrespecting me for years. Now I'm going to embarrass you on live TV, and I'm going to make you beg for me to stay, and I'm going to make you pay me. That's what he did.
Because I'm such a zen, chill, mellow person, and everything's a beautiful mystery. No, man, get out of here with all that, dude. That was all bullshit. It was all posturing for a new deal. Once he saw the Mahomes money, once he saw the Allen money, he was no longer happy. Yeah, he had some legitimate gripes with the Packers. Over the last 15 years, they have done a terrible job putting talent around him. They kept Mike McCarthy for way too long. We talk about coaches sticking around way longer than they need to. It was clear that guy couldn't coach, and it's still clear to this day he can't coach. But the whole Aaron Rodgers, I want more respect. I need this and that. Oh, I don't know what I'm going to do, and I'm going back and forth, and I'm holding my teammates' careers in the balance. That's why Adams left. He's like, I'm not doing another year dealing with this guy. I don't care how much fucking money you offer me. The last 2 years, I'm just expected to just follow along with what Aaron Rodgers has going on because I need to be with him. Fuck that, man. Everything that dude did was phony. It's bullshit. all the mushroom shit, all the
What
weird
about it is
tattoos,
phony,
all
though?
the weird tattoos.
What about it?
All
What about
the
it's
Zen,
phony, though?
all the knit caps with the fucking McAfee interviews and all that shit, dude. It's all phony Zen.
You don't think he's really like that?
I want to project this image of depth and substance and deep thinking and higher learning and purpose and all that. No, you weren't.
You don't think he really is like that and believes that?
I think he's full of shit. I think
Why,
he's full
why
of
though?
shit.
Listen,
because
he's
it
just
all comes off. Listen to the way he talks. It's a beautiful mystery. Like, shut the fuck up. Shut up,
but
dude.
I really
that
think
shit is all cap. And I told you the other day, I'm shocked. I'm shocked that you eat it up. I understand you love him as a quarterback.
I'm not eating it up.
No,
eating it up is not the right word.
He's so genuine. He's fake deep. He's fake deep, dude.
I really think he's like that. Just
let me quote
you know what he's like? He's just like Kyrie. They're both really like that. Like they're both like they both really believe that. They both like are a little out there when it comes to, beliefs or what their belief system and how they process information. I think they're really like that. I think Aaron Rodgers is the exact opposite of phony. I think he looks at shit really differently, especially as he's gotten older in his career. I don't think
the only thing he looked at differently was his contract. That's it.
Well,
that's the only thing that changed. What changed? What changed between
that's what I'm saying.
So then
I don't understand what you're saying, because if you're telling me he's phony, he's always been like this.
Remember in the beginning, this isn't about money. This isn't about a contract. It's beyond that. That was his whole thing. It
was beyond that, though.
No, it was about money, Sean.
It wasn't. It was about.
He got his money and we're all good. What changed? Tell me what the team has gotten worse.
Nick, that's not true. It was more than the contract. He felt disrespected. They didn't address him on multiple transactions where they shipped out good friends of his, some of his best friends, best players on the team. They cut, released, didn't talk to him about it, weren't talking to him about decisions. They hadn't drafted an offensive skill player in 15 seasons. He was pissed. And by the way, you drafted you wasted a draft pick on a guy out of Utah State to play quarterback. There was a lot more to it than money.
Yeah, absolutely. But at the end of the day, it boiled down to money. Once he got his money, everything was fine. What changed?
What do you mean?
They allowed him to bring back Randall Cobb last year, so now he has personnel decisions?
Yes.
That's great.
He went and got Randall Cobb. They included him in decisions.
So and that was it. Cobb and Devontae Adams out, so we can't speak to the fact that Adams clearly didn't want to deal with this guy's shit anymore. There was no reason to leave.
You think that's why he left?
He went to go play for an inferior quarterback and less money.
What do you mean less money?
The Packers offered. Yes, the Packers offered him more money than he got in Oakland. I'm sorry, Las Vegas.
Are you sure? I didn't even know.
1,000%. I put it on everything.
Like how much different?
I don't know. I don't know if it was anything that it was crazy, but it was still less. It wasn't like he went to Oakland for $40 more million. It was less money. He was done with the circus. He was done with the charade. He was done having to tag along to Aaron Rodgers' whole fucking all over the place bullshit. Every offseason, what are we doing? Am I retiring?
You're putting too much.
I want more money. Am I going to the Niners? Is Devontae Adams and I doing the last dance? Like, come on, man. Y'all don't even win a Super Bowl. You got to have the first dance to have the last one. The fuck out of here. That shit was all cap, bro. And once he got a new deal, and once he became now is the second highest paid quarterback in the league, it's all good. Now what is he saying this offseason? I want to finish my career here. He saw the Mahomes deal, saw the Allen deal, obviously already had some issues with the franchise. But the fact that he had those issues, right, then you add on the money thing, or you take the money thing, then you add on those issues is what it really is. And it caused it to explode. So, yeah, both things can be true. But at the end of the day, it boiled down to money. He's not wearing a new uniform, and there aren't better players. He's not going to go out.
He's not going to go out there and play for less money than he's won back-to-back MVPs.
I understand.
Yeah, so I don't – listen, Aaron Rodgers has been the same guy his whole entire career. He's never, ever been a phony dude, in my opinion. He really says what he means, and that's how it's always been. And he's always had a huge chip on his shoulder since the day he tumbled in the draft. It's the same dude. He's always been. It'd be phony if he started talking to his family. That's when he that's when he'd be a phony. If he showed up,
that's another red flag.
If he showed up with his brother,
this guy's red flags galore.
Listen, if he showed up with his pops and his mom and his brother to an event, then we can flip and call him phony.
Yeah,
so
phony. My mom.
All right,
games and he doesn't even talk to them. That's fucking red flag galore, bro. I'm trying to tell you about that man.
I know. The on the field and off the field stuff is a completely different thing. But to tie it all together,
you never want to spend any time with that guy.
I think Russell Wilson, the guy you see and know on camera and on the microphone, is a completely different dude off the camera and the microphone.
Hey, yo, Bay.
He's an actor. Russell Wilson is low-key an actor.
Seattle.
Like he's an actor. But like that whole situation is very interesting.
But I mean, the way that we started this conversation, I think a lot of these guys behind the scenes have kind of a diva mentality. Maybe not as deep as Wilson, Rodgers, and some of these guys who seem to be way over the top. But you think when it's time when Burrow gets $300 million, he's not going to be that way? We talked about Lamar, right, with the information that you had. Not necessarily that he's a diva, but like there's kind of like an air of these you almost need it. You need to have that air of invincibility. You need to kind of have that alpha mentality, right?
Move differently, yeah.
You got to move differently at the quarterback position. You think Tom Brady absolutely moves differently?
Yeah, no
different.
Question. Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Yes, Tom Brady moves differently.
Very, very different.
Yes, Tom Brady moves differently.
Example, but moves with just a way that, like, it's going to work out. We're fine. Yeah. It's fine. This is nothing. So, I mean, but 100%, I think Russ behind the scenes is probably a bit more demanding than you think. But that Seattle situation was also kind of it was crazy. A lot of folks were trying to get out of there.
Yeah, no question.
Legion of Boom couldn't wait to get out.
Yeah, they got
a lot of those guys had issues, but yeah.
Let's talk about the Bears, because right before we got on, I was having a conversation about the Chicago Bears. And shout out my guy, Mikey Solito. He always listens. Shout out my big dog, Henry, just got married. Congratulations, big guy. And we were talking about basically my guy, Mikey, was upset that Cap and Hood for the third day running had been bashing the Bears on the radio. And it was negativity around the Bears. And he's like, yo, enough is enough. I get it. Why must you go on with this negativity? Why can't we bring some positivity here?
There's a lot.
People are excited. It's a new season. Where do you stand with the Bears? How are you feeling going into the year? And then we'll talk about the new stadium.
I see a lot of people saying, oh, there needs to be positivity, and people got really mad. Like we talked about the Rossini thing already. Like people were legitimately hurt. Like mark this day that she said that. It's like, okay, go for it. Write it down. Fucking take a picture. She's right. You got to be realistic as a fan. For me, I'm not going to sit up here and have a whole bunch of optimism towards the Bears being good or even being average, right? I do not think this is a good football team. I don't think we address a lot of the issues that we have. My biggest thing, like it has been since we started doing this podcast, is you didn't address the issues on the offensive line. And the number one thing we want to look for is the progress from Justin Fields. And I feel like that's going to be hindered by offensive line play. Now, we'll say this, in the third preseason game, and just in the preseason in general, it does seem like this guy Getsy has a good understanding of how to call plays and calling plays that, wait for it, play to the strengths of your roster, which is something we have not seen over the last few years, right? So he understands that he's got to get the ball out quickly. He understands that he's got to use Justin Fields' athleticism and just, natural gifts that he has to try to make up for some of the other deficiencies. So I do think that gives me some optimism, right? But I'm not going to sit up here and tell you all the great things that I'm looking forward to about the Bears, because I don't see it. This team got worse, and it wasn't a good team last year. So, I mean, I think people are right to be critical. And it's Cap. It's Cap. Where have you been the last 20 years? It's just kind of how he is. If he's upset about something, he's going to go on about it for days. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Plus, he covers the Bears. He does the Bears show.
But I guess the point is, we understand they're not going to be that good. You know the situation. We're rebuilding. Yeah. Cole's first year. We got a brand new coach. Should you come on the airwaves and be a little more positive?
No, you got to say what you got to feel. We just talked about being genuine for a half an hour. If that's how he feels, that's how he feels. You know
Yeah,
what I
no,
mean?
I mean,
And I've put some negative stuff out there on the Bears, and I've gotten some backlash on it on Twitter. But it is what it is. It's how I feel. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
I'm not like I'm not. See, I think some people mistake it for like you're preying on their downfall, or I'm trying to speak the Bears being bad into existence,
It's just
or I
clear
don't
out.
like the Bears.
Yeah, I
Like,
love the
don't.
Bears.
I love the Bears. That's the problem. I've loved the Bears for 35 fucking years. I love the Bears more than anything in any non-human being in the world, right? So, like, that's not the case. I am a Bears fan, and nothing would delight me more than to see the Chicago Bears do well. Nothing would delight me more than to have a franchise quarterback. Nothing would delight me more than for us to get on the show on Mondays with Eli, shout out Eli, and have a great conversation about what the Bears did right. But the reality of the situation is I don't think that's going to happen this year. And I think that there were some things that we could have done, right, to make those feelings a little bit better, and we didn't. I can't forgive the not addressing the offensive line part to my satisfaction. I know some people are happy with what's the kid that we drafted in the 5th round that's going to start. Like, that's great. All that's
Yeah.
awesome. Tevin Jenkins moving to guard. Man, I'm forgetting the guy's name. He's supposed to be awesome.
It's not Broom. Did I make that up?
No, Borum. Larry Borum's he's another guy. They drafted him last year. I'm forgetting his name, man. But,
I got it. Go ahead.
And Riley Reef in town, and like I like that signing. They picked up the guy that the Raiders just cut.
Braxton Jones.
Braxton Jones, yeah. So I like that, man. But at the same time, I feel like we should have thrown a lot of money at that position when you have a quarterback on a rookie contract. So I'm just being honest with my assessment of the team. That's where I'm at. But it's not. I'm not praying for the Bears' downfall. I don't want them to go 0-17. But we've already laid out, you and I have talked about it multiple times, what we're looking for this year. Hey, if they go 0-17, I see development from the quarterback position.
Great season.
Great.
Unbelievable
Unreal.
season.
Unreal. It's not even statistical development, right? It's just I see like, this is our guy. This is a guy.
Great year.
I'm there.
Awesome season.
Yeah.
Looking forward to next year with a bunch of cap space.
With a bunch of caps. With $97 million, is it? Great.
Yeah, it's going to be an insane amount of cap space.
It's going to be an insane amount of cap space. With a quarterback that you believe in. So I'm cool with that, man. Like we said, this is Justin Fields' rookie year. So, yeah.
This never happens. I was looking at the Atlanta Braves roster. And Sakuna Jr. and all these young dudes. The Braves are going to be good for a long time in the NL. They're loaded. And they got out in front of so many young people's deals. They didn't Aaron Judge it, right? They were like, this dude's going to be really good. We should give this guy $85 million right now instead of $240 maybe if we wait another 2 years. Mm-hmm. That is never, ever the case in the NFL. I wonder if that is like another strategy to maybe – not a quarterback on a rookie deal, but not a quarterback on a $50 million a year deal either. Maybe they could kind of jump out at, like, for example, say Fields comes out, has a good year, and you like what you're looking at. Maybe you can extend him, but I guess it's such a fine line because
I don't think you can do the extension until you're going into year 4. It has to be before year 4. So like Burrow can do his extension
after the fourth,
after this year,
after the fourth season, right?
After the third season.
After the third season.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, what is this for Lamar? This is 4.
No, right? We don't even. This is 4.
This is.
That's why it's the 5th year thing.
Yeah,
or whatever.
I haven't done any homework on how
Lamar Jackson shouldn't be going into any season right now.
Yeah, well, that's what we talked about that
all the time. It's still, I can't believe it. Still,
Lamar Jackson's going to play the whole year.
Yeah, it's stupid. Unreal.
So, it is what it is.
Unreal.
And he's going to get franchised. So he has to get through 2 years to then get a deal. Is what it looks like. So stay tuned because you know the difference between holding out this year and next year. Holding out this year, Lamar would essentially forfeit the small rookie deal that he's on. When you then have to hold out on a franchise tag, you're essentially holding out on almost $40 million.
Well, and also he wouldn't have to hold out because if he didn't show up, you know what would happen? He'd get a fucking deal.
Yeah, that's how it works.
If you go through a few weeks, if they'd gone through the last 5-6 weeks of camp, and I like Tyler Huntley, But with Huntley and whoever their third quarterback is, whoever they sign off the street, off the scrap heap, Lamar Jackson would have got his deal.
Yeah. But you get me, though?
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't have that individual pressure of like, man, if I don't play this year, I'm giving back 40 M's.
$40 million. Yeah, it's a lot of money turned out.
Yeah, like this year, it's like, oh, I'm not making too much money anyway. They owe me a deal. This is the year to sit if you're Lamar. But
so I mean, no, to answer your question, so as far as just trying to sign guys early before they hit the top of the market.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've never thought about it in a football sense, but I was literally doing some homework on the Braves.
NBA teams do it.
Yeah, and all their guys are studs. And they have one dude in Austin Riley that's making an incredible amount of money. But everybody else, for the most part, is on cheaper deals because they got out in front of them.
Yeah.
Similar to the White Sox.
Yeah.
If you want to be, if you really want to know.
They got Anderson for like $7 million a year.
Exactly.
Yeah. They signed a lot of guys early.
Just early. So I wonder if that's a viable option in the
then you don't run into that situation like the Cubs did last year, where literally all your Baez, Rizzo, and Bryant, $300 million. They're all free agents in the same year, and you're not sure what to do. Yeah. So
exactly. You try to get out in front of it. It's a gamble, but it's also can pay off major dividends. So
and when you talk about strategy, now you know your money situation going forward, so you know where you can spend, right? If it's like, hey, we got our 5 or 6 of our top guys signed, locked down to good deals. Now we know we have X amount of dollars that we can spend in other areas. We're not waiting to sign this deal to figure out what we can spend on the next one. You know what I mean? So it's an interesting area. But baseball is also different in the sense that I still don't understand how baseball free agency works, arbitration. Guys don't become free agents till they're like 38. It's like team control shit in baseball.
Big time scam. It
is the biggest racket out there. Is the fact that I think Rizzo just hit free agency for the first time last year, and he's like 29.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
he's like 33.
Yeah. It's like, you're finally a free agent. You can choose your path.
Nice.
Like,
thanks a lot. I've been in the league 10 years. Yeah. I literally have 3 Gold Gloves. I have 285 career home runs, and exactly.
Or like Brian, it's like, hey, we're not going to bring you up because we don't want to get that year of service. Then we finally do bring you up. You win the MVP, but you're not a free agent till 6 years later, and you're washed. You know what I mean? Like,
no, for real.
Like that shit is a scam.
Yeah, it's super. Yeah, it's a big time. And then they're battling me in arbitration for like $500,000.
Yeah. I'm going to some arbitrator. Like, we don't want to pay you $500,000. Like, I had 35 home runs last year. So.
Exactly. Let's talk about the stadium.
Yeah.
Renderings for the new Chicago Bears Stadium came out. Looks insane.
Yeah.
Arlington Heights, west of the city. It looks like they're going to build essentially a town and then put a stadium at the end of the town. So if that's the case, I mean, look, man, I love the Bears being in Chicago. I love playing on Monday Night Football and they zoom out and they overlook Soldier Field. Chicago's in the background. It looks amazing. I love the buzz in the city. Bears are playing. But if you're from Chicago, like I know a lot of you listening are, it's a nightmare to fucking get over there. It's an absolute disaster.
It makes you think about saying no to tickets.
Yes.
It's the most unpleasant sporting event experience in Chicago is going to Soldier Field.
Yes, it is a disaster. So I understand.
And it's a racket.
I get it.
$110 to park.
Yeah, no, I understand them moving and the ownership's going to make more money, and I get all that. But me and Nick went out to Vegas last year for Bears. I was doing some more homework going into the year. The Bears, I think we're 3-2 at the end of that, or maybe like 4-2. It was like we had won like 3 or 4.
They looked great,
and I think we went 3-9 the rest of the way after that game. But me and Nick went out to Vegas. We hung out at the new building, Allegiant Stadium, that the Raiders play in. It was nice, man. It was nice to go into a new building, the atmosphere, the openness. It was awesome. So I wouldn't be mad at all if they went out. Deep in my core, I want them to stay. But if you're going to go get a brand new building and they're going to build a whole event center and have train stops and it'll be easy to get to out there in Arlington Heights, I can't be mad at them.
So whenever I talk to anybody about the stadium deal, I bring that up. I'm like, look, man, I was all pro, keep it in the city and all that until I went out to Vegas and saw a new stadium. and A, realize that this is what I want, and B, realize there's absolutely no way we'd ever be able to build this in the city of Chicago, right? So for everything that Sean
you'd have to
said,
knock it down and
it's just not possible.
Yeah, it'd be tough.
It's not possible. There's not enough space. You can't. It'd just be a pain in the, and it would shut down Lakeshore Drive for fucking 6 months. Like it'd just be a nightmare, right?
Yeah.
Also, look, man, as you get older, man, you become a fan of convenience. Stadium in Arlington Heights would be very convenient. Yeah, it's a little bit of a hike, about 30, 40 minutes. But, man, if you've been to Soldier Field from trying to park, trying to get there in general.
Might be the same time, dog.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it's easier. The death tunnel that you got to walk through to get into Soldier Field, you know what I'm talking about? The tunnel, like the whole thing. Plus, we'd be able to host the Super Bowl. You'd have a whole bunch of stuff around the stadium. There's nothing around Soldier Field. Like, you can't walk out the stadium and go do anything. You know what I mean? You got to take a bit of a hike to get there. I'd be all for it.
The whole setup is tough.
The whole setup is just tough, man. It's not like Wrigley where you spill out into a neighborhood. It's not like the United Center where it's not necessarily such a pain in the ass to get through to. Like Soldier Field's a pain. Plus all the shit you'll be able to build around, man. Like I'm all for it, man. We need a new arena. We need somewhere or a new stadium. We need to be able to host a Super Bowl in the city of Chicago. I'm with you on this. That's actually the first thing I thought about was when we have a primetime game and they zoom out and show the city and how sick it looks. That's gonna be gone. They're gonna show 294.
For real.
Mannheim, this is Rivers Casino.
Yeah. They might bamboozle everybody and still show the city type thing.
Yeah, they might
show the city, but just
man,
the stadium.
I'm all for it, man. I want the new stadium, man. Let's do it, man.
Yeah,
let's do it. Do we want to hit these?
Let's talk about MVP.
Yeah. MVP and title.
MVP in the NFL, the leader, odds-on favorite to win the most valuable player, Josh Allen plus 700, Tom Brady plus 800, Pat Mahomes plus 900, Aaron Rodgers plus 1,000, tied with Justin Herbert plus 1,000. Honorable mentions, Joe Burrows at plus 1,200, Russell Wilson plus 1,400, Matt Stafford plus 1,500. Kyler Murray, the new deal, he's down there plus 2,000 with Jalen Hurts and Lamar Jackson.
How did Jalen Hurts and Lamar Jackson have the same MVP odds?
Yeah,
is that overvaluing Jalen or undervaluing Lamar?
Oh, that's obviously undervaluing Lamar.
All right.
Because, dude, he's gonna have the ball all day long, especially without a new deal. You thought I was kidding?
You've been talking about
like
Sean,
me and Nick were joking. Like, you thought I was kidding?
Sean said he's gonna like Eric Crouch out there at Nebraska.
Dude, if this guy comes out to start the season without a new deal, I would not be shocked if he ran the ball a lot more, was getting a lot more usage with his legs and doing a lot of different stuff that he necessarily wouldn't be doing with a brand new shiny $245 million guaranteed deal. That's what I'll say on that. So I think Josh Allen and the Bills to win the Super Bowl are in some spots are already down to like plus 325, which is the lowest a preseason squad has been in quite a while. So with him being the odds-on favorite to be MVP makes sense. I think Josh Allen's going to have a monster year. I'm bullish like everyone else on the Bills. I've said this multiple times. I think they have an opportunity to win 13 or 14 games. I think they are going to be extremely focused on the regular season because they had a game last year where they lost 9-6 to the Jags.
Yeah.
They, I think, have now learned that when it's playoff time, they do not want to go to Arrowhead. Period. Point blank. Yeah. That's it. They don't want to go to LA. They don't want to go to Cincinnati. They want to play in Buffalo, and I think they are going to be locked in on trying to get the number 1 seed this year, and I think they will. I think the only questionable spot that they have is losing Brian Daboll, who's calling the offense and molded Josh Allen to what you see him as today. The last 2 seasons, he's been under Brian Daboll. Brian Daboll's now in New York for the Giants, and seeing if he could flip Daniel Jones into a usable, serviceable quarterback. But that's how I feel about the Bills. So him being plus 700 to win MVP seems like a fair number.
And you would hope that and you would think actually that Josh Allen's trajectory, as far as how much better he's gotten at each year in the NFL, would be able to offset the loss of Daboll. Like, obviously, we know.
Yeah, I mean, almost like, hey,
the guy developed, but it's like, hey, Allen's arrived now. We can.
Yeah, exactly. I've developed this dude. He is now that man, and I can now go on my separate ways.
And the new coordinator that's come in should know exactly how to use him, right? You now got 4 or 5 years on Josh Allen, exactly what he does well. So I think I'm high on the Bills too. As far as just looking at these title favorites, the Bills. I think there's a lot of Kansas City. I like Kansas City, man. I think Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, Patrick Mahomes has been taking shots from former receivers in the media, and people are kind of just forgetting about him. But we always say, man, when we talk quarterback in the NFL, Mahomes is the other guy we don't even have to mention. So I think
the thing for me, I'm obviously a huge Mahomes fan. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the league, if not the best. All the offseason moves kind of were like blah to me. It was like a shrug. Marquez Valdes-Scantling, Juju Smith.
Juju Smith sucks. What did AB call like, Boo Boo Smith-Schuster?
Who said that?
that was AB. Twitter? That was AB.
Oh, AB called
he
Boo
called
Smith-Schuster.
Like Boo Boo Smith-Schuster, Juju Shit-Schuster, or something like that.
Yeah, shout out AB. That's funny. Boo Boo Smith-Schuster. That's hilarious. Like they didn't really do anything for me. Like they got worse.
Sure.
In my opinion. Sky Moore is a highly touted rookie that's coming in. I'm going to be interested to see how Travis Kelce plays without the threat of Tyreek Hill taking the top off and opening the middle of the field up.
Did you point that out on MSG, or were we talking about that Kelce is always wide open because everybody's on Tyreek?
Literally, Travis Kelce.
You said that on MSG, I think.
Yeah, if you go back and look at his film, it's insane how much he catches the ball and turns around, and there's nobody around him. So I'm interested to see, without that threat of Tyreek taking the top off, like go look at Travis Kelce plays. He catches the ball, turns around, and braces for contact, and there's nobody around quite a bit. They still have McCall Hardman, who is another speedster that, maybe he'll take a step up. But I'm interested to see what Patrick Mahomes does with these new toys. They're new. He doesn't have Tyreek around. I mean, they're going to be good, but Tyreek Hill is a big, big, big weapon for
absolutely. Well, especially
Mahomes and everything they do. Yeah,
he's the perfect player for how Mahomes, because he is the king of the broken down play, and Mahomes is the king of the broken down play. And you put those two together, and they were on the same page in these broken down plays like I've never seen before, right? Yeah, like it was crazy. So
no question. So
is there anybody you think is being crazy undervalued on this list as far as the title favorites? I know you like the Raiders plus 4,000. They're low. They're in the bottom half.
Let me see for the title.
Saints, same thing. I mean, there's a lot of teams that are plus 4,000.
I'll tell you all the futures that I'm going to finalize probably today, actually. I have the Seahawks under 5.5 wins, the Falcons under 5 wins, the Raiders over 8.5 wins, the Colts to win the AFC South, I think is an absolute lock, and it's minus 130.
So you like that Ryan coming in for wins, right?
Yeah, and I'm not even a huge Matt Ryan fan. But by the way, did you see that let me finish these really quick.
Yeah.
Saints over 8.5 wins. Cowboys and Eagles, I already put this in. We're plus 150 to win the NFC East. I bet both of them. I don't think there's ever a situation where the Cowboys or Eagles don't win the division. I don't see the Giants winning, and I don't see the Commanders with Carson Wentz coming on.
Folks call them the Commanders.
And make it, yeah. Hey, that's what they are. That's what they're called now.
Yeah.
And this is something I found really interesting. Micah Parsons to lead the league in sacks, plus 2,200. He lives in the backfield.
Yeah.
There's worries that he is not going to get enough time, as much time as he previously was on the edge, and he's going to be playing like outside linebacker a little more, which I hope they do not do because he's born to rush the passer.
Yeah, I don't know why they move him away from that.
But that's an interesting one. I saw plus 2,200 on Micah Parsons to lead the league in sacks. So those are my the futures I was looking at. And
I would the TJ Watt would scare me on that because I think TJ Watt had 22 and a half sacks in 15 games last year. So if Watt plays 17.
I mean, he's
might have
had the most
25
sacks in the
sacks.
league the last 3 years.
Yeah, he's
some
fucking
insane number.
absurd. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Well, they're feeding him in that Watt household.
yeah, I don't know. Footballs.
Yeah. Have another
leather footballs, pads.
Yeah, for real.
So, all right, before we get out of here, I got to talk about Nick Kyrgios last night. I had a little wager on Kyrgios to win in either 3-1 or 3-2. So essentially winning 4 sets or 5 sets. He drops the first set, wins the second set, has a huge opportunity to break in the third. He ends up losing the set. He was up like 40-15 on a break. He had like 2 break points and he gave them back. And just every time there was a big spot, he couldn't get it done last night. And I knew what I was getting myself into going into it by betting on Kyrgios. But if you're a betting man like me, and you listen to me when I'm talking about betting, because I've been in this game for a long time now, you want to bet on people and organizations that are run the right way and that are mentally stable. In an individual sport, not that Kyrgios is not mentally stable, but he's a little bit of a hothead when it comes to, playing tennis. And when he gets frustrated, he's easy to get off his game. Like, I don't know why people don't talk to Kyrgios when they're playing him. I would flat out talk shit to Kyrgios if I played him on the court. He would completely lose his mind. I know that's against the culture, and that just doesn't happen in golf and in tennis.
He talks to you.
But he doesn't talk to you. He just talks to his box or talks to himself, slams rackets and does all this other stuff. But I just find another. When I was watching it, and I was like, I should be looking for different spots, not betting on guys that I don't know, I can't trust, and I don't know if they're just gonna lose their mind in the middle of the match. Like, I have no business putting money on guys like this.
You know what though? I could also see the opposite side of that, whereas you also want to bet on people who are hot, right? And after he beats Medvedev, it seemed like he maybe had turned a corner. Seemed like maybe this was his tournament to win, right? Especially once Nadal went out. It's like, okay, Kyrgios is the favorite. No way he shrinks like.
But why don't you bet on Daniel Jones and the Giants? You can't trust Buddy.
Yeah.
It's a trust thing. One day he may come out and be really hot
and look like the best player in the world, and then he does like what happened last night.
He just beat Medvedev, the number 1 ranked player in the world. Looks great. He's been playing great. Some of the best tennis in his career.
And the tournament was his to win.
Best tennis in his career he's been playing the last 2 months.
Yeah.
You still can't trust him not to be fully locked in the entire match. And that's the problem. I don't care, no matter what situation it is, what he's been doing the last 2 months. Just like you can't depend on Daniel Jones not to turn it over. It's the same thing.
I think they said no one's won as many matches as him since Wimbledon.
No, he's been playing insane tennis.
To your point, though, he has a history of just falling apart in the big moments.
If one thing happens, he's liable to fall off the rails.
Yeah, unravels.
And you never know.
And a lot of it is self-sabotage too. Like, you're watching shit last night. He'll give up points he doesn't need to. You know what I mean? He won't go after some shit.
He's trying drop shots that are unnecessary.
Going between his legs when it's unnecessary, doing all types of shit, yelling at his box to shut up, then yelling at him to get louder. So a lot of it just seems like he knows it's coming. You know what? And that's what I thought when I was watching it at Wimbledon. I was like, man, it's almost like the moment gets big, and instead of trying to like go head first into it, he's like, nah, fuck that. I'm gonna sabotage this because I'm not gonna win anyways. Like, that shit is psychological.
It's a very negative.
I think that's what makes, we start talking about individual sports, because in a team sport, like, when that type of shit starts to creep in, you have teammates that are right there. That are lifting you
it's
up,
the individual sports.
I think that's what makes Tigers run. People like Tiger, Serena, who have had these runs in these individual sports for years and years and years. It's like they're wired differently.
No question.
They're wired differently. Like, they have especially in tennis, where you can't even talk to a coach in between sets or anything like that. Like, you really are out there alone. Yeah. So when it's going bad, like, you're just sitting there in the room. You know what I mean?
They changed that for the U.S. Open, by the way. But yes, you're out there by yourself, bro. Period.
100%. Yeah,
that's it. You got to serve. You got to do passing shots. You got to get
yourself out. You got to pick yourself up.
You got to stay on service games, and guys like that have trouble with that.
Yep. For sure.
And that's why in massive spots against really good players that are putting constant pressure on you, they're going to be it's going to be tough to overcome, and that's exactly what happened last night.
Yeah, and clearly it's not a talent thing, right? You watch him; he's might be the most talented guy out there outside of
his feel is insane.
Crazy, and the things that he can do are crazy. But yeah, he just it seems like when those moments get big again, like the Wimbledon one, it was like, what is this guy doing, man? He's just fully unraveling. And it's funny to hear a guy like McEnroe talk about it, who's like the king of unraveling. But
yeah,
McEnroe is also able to win a bunch of majors. So
yeah, so that find a different spot. Bet on things you can depend on and are confident. I actually think it was a good bet still. I think I had it pegged, but he just didn't show up in big spots. I knew he would drop a set. I knew he wasn't going to beat this dude in straight sets. I thought he would beat him in advance. And he was minus, by the way, he was minus 450 before the match. So yeah, it was just bet on guys you can depend on with a proven track record that you can depend on them, not the exact opposite of a proven track record over the years of crumbling right before your eyes and slamming rackets and screaming at your box. Like simple as that. That's it.
After the match, he shakes my man's hand, then literally casually strolls over to his racket bag and smashes 2 rackets before leaving the tournament.
This is the other thing. Like, even shit like that is whack because you know who has to pick? Like, people have to pick those rackets up. You don't slam rackets and leave them on the court.
Right.
Like, what type of shit is that?
Yeah.
Slam the racket and pick it up and leave. That's like slamming the racket and leaving it on the court is like eating your McDonald's at the place and leaving your shit all over the table.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Like, what are we talking about? It's disrespectful. It's it's like mental nonsense.
Yep.
So whatever. We'll leave it at that. No Catch Up is back. NFL Week 1 starts tomorrow. We'll see you guys next week. For Big Nick the Quick, I'm your host, Sean Little. Subscribe everywhere. You know the deal. No Catch Up Sports Talk via Chicago. We're out here.